Good afternoon and welcome to the April 5th special meeting of the Gates County Board of Commissioners. I am Dr. Al Theoretti, the 2023 Chair of the Board. I'm joined this afternoon by Commissioner Jonathan Craddock, Vice Chair, Commissioner Linda Hoffler, Commissioner Brian Roundtree, Commissioner Emily Truman, County Manager Scott Sauer, County Attorney Mr. Pitt Godwin, and Clerk to the Board, Jolitha Chestnut. Let us rise for invocation and pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Fathers, again, that we've gathered here to conduct the business of Gates County, we invoke your presence here so that we'll do what's good in your light and your viability. We pray, Heavenly Father, for those who are sick and shut in, wherever they may be. We ask that you bless this board as we go through the next couple of hours, trying to do what we need to do for this county. We're thankful that you brought us here safely. We pray that when we leave this place, you'll go back with us and we'll find all this well. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I request a motion on the floor to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143.318.111 personnel.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into closed session. There will be action when we leave closed session. Is there a motion on the floor to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to come out of closed session. All in favor? Aye. We're out of closed session. Is there a motion on the floor?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of a 3-year employment agreement for County Manager Scott Sauer, effective August 14th, 2023, which coincides with the conclusion of the 6-month contract service of our interim county manager. This employment agreement under consideration has a 3-year term, annual compensation of $150,000. This contract has no provisions of severance pay, which is typical for a local government manager, and Mr. Sauer has waived the health insurance coverage typically provided to all employees, both providing substantial savings and cost avoidance for the county.
You heard the motion. Do we have a second?
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Sauer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor for the approval of March 15th and March 16th minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Properly moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Sheriff Campbell. Introduction of new 911 director.
First off, congratulations. Thank you. Mr. Godwin, Commissioners, County Manager, and I am thrilled, I am excited to stand in front of you tonight and introduce our new 911 Director, Dawn Abbott. Dawn hails from Clemens County. She's got dispatch experience, but what she brings that we have lacked somewhat is a passion and a love for what she does. I saw this in talking to her, and I am thrilled to death to have her where she's at as our director. I just talked to some dispatchers today, and they said the morale and the excitement in the dispatcher is like they haven't had in quite some time. So I am thrilled. We started this program on March the 8th. I had people ask me, how long is it going to take to get your son back up and going? I said, give me a month. And they said, no way. It's been less than a month. We've hired 3. We've gone from 30 or 40 chairs, 50 chairs a month to, I think this month we've got 3. So without further ado, Dawn.
Yep, so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to change and see where we can grow from here. I'm super excited to be here, so. We have a great group of guys over there and girls, so it'll be a good thing.
Well, welcome to the team. Any
Yeah.
questions or anything from?
Say that one more time.
I just want y'all to know, we have a great group of dispatchers, a great
We do.
group. And like I've told you before, they are our guardian angels. What they do is vital to the first responders. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited in the direction we're going. So
Well, welcome aboard and
Well, thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
All right.
Welcome aboard.
Look forward to your updates. Okay. Now we have the Merchants Commerce Center Master Plan Project Kickoff Update from March 30th, 2023 Planning Meeting. Ms. Lisa Cherry.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners, County Attorney, County Manager. Congratulations. Clerk to the board. On March 30th, we had a kickoff meeting, I would say, for Summit Engineering and Design to meet with the commissioners and the public out at the public library. And just to recap that meeting, it was concerning the public engagement that Summit will be beginning and for the next 2 months, continuing. And so just to recap that, in meeting with them, with Michael Solaro and Ann Darby, just to let you know some things that'll be going on with the public participation. They had indicated that we will reach out to as many people as possible for the next 2 months. The survey will be in a paper format and online for people to complete. They will have a QR code available for everyone to scan. If hopefully everyone's familiar with that, well, maybe not everyone, but it'll be available. And we'll help people with that as well. It'll be created and put into printed materials. They'll create flyers about the process with the survey, and meeting information will be posted in the libraries, community center, with the high school students, hopefully as well. The staff will update existing website, and I'm not sure, and I have to ask that, do we have a Facebook page? Does anyone know that? Do you know that?
Well, emergency management does.
Certain departments in the county, I believe, do.
The county does not have a Facebook page, I don't think. I'm looking at the county clerk.
We have a website.
Oh, yes, yeah, we do have a website. It's just something they ask, so just maybe we'll ask some people to maybe post that, so just, some things to think about. Surveys, we understand there's some basketball tournaments. I think some of the Commissioner Roundtree maybe know about some of those things. So again, anything that you guys have that you would like to offer, that'd be great. Any suggestions? They will attend hopefully 4 events or maybe some things in the community that are going on is the plan. We're reaching out to as many people as possible right now, trying to find those things out. So that's what we're doing at present. Make sure participants are representative of the county's demographics. That's one thing we're working on as well too. And we've talked about and that includes, the ACE, race, gender, just to ensure they're reaching out to the entire community as a whole to, reach everyone that will be taking the surveys. They'll make sure that the surveys, again, are online and in paper format. They'll meet with the Economic Development Committee. I think that was brought up at the meeting on Thursday. We talked about the precincts. That's something we're kind of using as, a format online that we have in our GIS that we've kind of brought about that kind of reaches everyone with the voting precincts, something that we're using as a mapping tool, if hopefully everyone agrees with that, something to use. The community center or library seems to be a central point for the county, so that's what we're looking at as some areas to have a engagement where people can come and meet and talk to Summit, talk about the process and fill out some of the surveys if people would like to do that, and look at the map that they've got for the conceptual plan at present. The fire departments, Roriton's, community centers again, extension office, and any other information that anybody may have, again, is what they've asked. And when they met with some of the public after the meeting, which was a pretty positive thing, after they had spoke, and heard them speak. After the meeting, people were able to talk to Summit that day. So that kind of recaps what we did last Thursday. And, if there's any other questions, that they will be there to answer any questions at some of the engagements. And we ask again for any suggestions. We're available. They'll be available. And just look online. More to come.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Cherry? Comments? Suggestions?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Who is this? Are you putting this information like in the index in an article or on the side where they have, so people will know these events where they can go?
They will, as an announcement, yes. Yes, and again, any suggestions, they will do that. We just had a scoping meeting, just a Zoom meeting yesterday, just to recap, just like we're doing right now. And they will have the survey, she hopes to have that Thursday evening, which, be able to get that Monday morning. So something to know exactly what this will look like and see exactly what that will be, for us to see as well, just for the public as well. It'll be something pretty informal and basic, and everyone will have the same survey, of course, but informal, to the point, and for everyone to fill out. And they'll have help as well, if anybody needs help filling them out, because I know everyone doesn't like to do things online, And when they do the engagements, they'll be able to do that as well and ask any questions to do that. And again, we hope to have 4 of those. And hopefully people will be open to having us there at the fire stations, firehouses, whatever they like to call them. And people, if you're willing to have us, if we reach out, or if you want to have us, let us know, whether it be Ruritan's, firehouses. We'll go to the churches and make sure they have some of these as well, some of the paper copies to turn in. And if someone will be a central focal, person to get that back to us, that would be the way to do it, because, we don't want to touch it. We want to make sure everyone, it's a process that is kind of, anonymous, and it's turned back into the consultant. So that's the goal.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Terry.
All right.
Look
Thank
forward to
you.
your updates.
All right, thank you.
Now we have the county manager's report and updates. Mrs. Sauer?
Well, first, if I may, Madam Chair, and to each commissioner, thank you. Thank you so much for your support, your confidence, and your willingness to help push these projects up the hill that we've got to climb. The budget and many other projects, but I'm very thankful for your confidence and willingness to let me spend some quality time here in Gates County over the next 3.5 years. Thank you. Item 1, at one of your most recent meetings, the board approved the resolution documents for the settlement of the opioid cases that have been worked on for a number of years. I helped the county attorney as he sifted through those, and all of those documents have now been signed electronically, verified digitally by the source agencies, and we do have hard copies of all that documentation on file with the clerk to the board.
Good.
Item number 2, I'd like to provide an update on the North Carolina Department of Labor, the Occupational Safety and Health Division that brought to our attention some concerns about the former dental offices at 25 Medical Center Road. As the board will recall, it was on March the 6th, not even a month ago, that the county received the registered notice from the Department of Labor and had given the county just 7 working days to provide a response to the state. There was a series of email responses back and forth between the county and the state, and with the board's approval, the county engaged the firm Mid-Atlantic Associates to do the testing for mold, asbestos, and lead paint. That project took place March 23rd. It was an all-day event, and each commissioner has at their desk a 67-page report with many sets of data and detailed charts. We also have this report digitally, so with the board's concurrence, we'd like to make that available on the county website so that people can take time to view it. There are a number of photographs that I think are very helpful and informative. I personally have not had a chance to digest this. It just was received yesterday at close of business. But I would like to share some of the remarks that were provided by the reviewing staff that were on the ground March 23rd. They indicated that as a general update, their non-invasive XRF analysis did not identify the presence of lead-based paint in the facility. One tape lift surface sample, which was collected from the uninsulated metal ductwork in the lobby, did indicate elevated levels of unspecified fungal spores. However, this hyphal fragmentation level of reproductive structures were low. I think what he was trying to tell me, the mold was dead and not reproducing. He indicated interior air sample spore counts were also low and below the background, meaning the outdoor levels that were sampled. It states that with this information, there does not appear to be a significant or active mold issue in the building. Furthermore, the spores detected on the metal ductwork were not identified as a common species of concern, and observable indications of the mold appeared to be localized to the metal ductwork in the lobby. And those large pipes up in the ceiling structures. He had indicated this should be easily addressed by a mold remediation company with a biocide treatment since the metalwork is non-porous. The very next day, he followed up relative to the asbestos containing materials, indicating that there were several samples that were above the 1% of the total material composition. First, there was an area with 12-inch by 12-inch tan floor tile in the HVAC mechanical room with approximately 30 square feet that was non-friable. There was also 12-inch by 12-inch off-white floor tile identified in the Eastern Exam Room number 4 and Eastern Restroom, approximately 100 square feet total, again, non-friable. And then the black sink undercoating identified in the Eastern Exam Room 1 and 5, where there were approximately 3 sinks that was non-friable. And he had indicated, as discussed previously, these asbestos-containing materials are not hazardous to human health in their current state due to the non-friable and good intact condition overall. However, should you decide to keep these materials in place, it is recommended to implement an asbestos management plan. This plan must be reevaluated annually, and the goal of the plan is to eventually eradicate any identified asbestos-containing materials from the building. And he also reports OSHA requires the owner of the building to provide notification of the asbestos-containing materials in the building to all occupants, tenants, and workers in the building. Lastly, he states abatement of the identified asbestos-containing materials should not be cost prohibitive if you decide to go that route. He has provided contacts for us to companies that specialize in this type of remediation work. And his professional opinion is that this work should take no more than half of a day for removal. He says the amount of asbestos containing materials is very small in comparison to other projects that he had experienced. And again, these were his initial notes, followed up by a 67-page report. The staff with the Mid-Atlantic Associates would be willing to have an interface, a conversation with the board if that would be desirable, so that you could ask questions and maybe point to one of the charts or one of the photos and say, well, explain to us what this means. To do it face-to-face would be a little bit costly because the lead investigator is from Charlotte. However, he said if we set it up as a Zoom conference, and that too could be available for the public to observe, we could accomplish hopefully the same line of communication. So if that's a project you'd like to entertain, to have that sort of two-way consultation with the gentleman that was on the ground doing the industrial hygiene analysis, they're most willing to help us out with that. And I think could hopefully put everybody at ease as to what we have found. Lastly, we have received correspondence from the Department of Labor, which was dated March 21st, 2 days before we did the on-site detailed analysis, because we had been updating them as to the board's commitment to follow through. And it states, your letter received on March 13th concerning the above referenced complaint has been reviewed. Based on the information provided by the county, the state feels the case can be closed on the ground that the alleged hazardous conditions have been corrected or no longer exist. It says this letter does not prohibit the state from initiating an inspection to look further at this complaint. So we will also forward to them a copy of the report and let them know that we will proceed with the remediation efforts. And it sounds like all good news as we try to address that and move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Sauer. What is the pleasure of the board as far as having a presentation by the company? Do you want them to have a Zoom meeting with us to go over this report so that we can understand what's in the report and how to move forward? Discussion.
I mean, I would not be objective to further understanding because a lot of these numbers don't process well with me right now. I know we just had it and I mean, we could look it up, but I do think that if we had an opportunity to have them further explain what some of these numbers mean, because it sounds like from what it was saying, it's nothing terribly concerning where my head just latches onto things and yeah, so I would personally like that.
Commissioner Hoffler? Speak in the
Well,
mic.
since I have been working in the building for several years, I'm
You'd
not
like
too
to understand.
concerned
No.
about it, but yes, it'll
No.
help calm the fears.
Commissioner Craddock?
I'm welcoming to a Zoom meeting,
Okay,
so they can explain, everybody can hear.
okay.
Clear communication.
Right.
Commissioner Roundtree?
And also, Madam Chair, I believe it'd be cost effective to have the Zoom meeting and we'll receive the same information and put our citizens and occupants of the building at ease.
Okay. Mr. County Manager, it's a consensus of this board that you move forward to arrange a Zoom presentation for the company so that we can share with them our questions, comments, and they can explain some things that maybe after we've read this again. We just received it when we walked in the building. I got my expert next to me. He's been taking notes. I still don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, would it be the next meeting, which is April 19th, or soon thereafter?
We'll need to look at that because you've also got the Board of Equalization and Review
Right.
that same
Day.
evening. So I'll work with Mr. Letha
Okay.
to find a date that will work for everyone's schedule.
Okay. We have other items on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am, just briefly. As the board will recall, that the county has been advertising and recruiting for a number of key management positions. And given the timeline that we now face as we get closer to preparing and presenting and reviewing the budget, I would like to respectfully suggest that we notify everyone that's applied and indicate that we're going to defer any interviewing or decision-making until we get further along in the budget process or even finish the budget. And specifically, this would affect the positions of the Assistant County Manager, the Human Resources Director, and the Grant Writer. And with regard to the position that's been advertised for the Finance Officer, we've had a real struggle with attracting qualified applicants, and I'd like to make a recommendation to the board that given the challenge of finding qualified candidates and meeting the market demands, that we regrade the Finance Director position from its present designation at a grade 78 to a grade 83 on the county's classification schedule. And this would provide a working range of $71,888 to $111,426.
There are two recommendations.
And you could handle them together or separate? whatever?
I prefer to do them separate
Okay.
for the minutes. You have a recommendation, you need a motion to pause the advertising and hiring of the human resources position, the assistant manager position, and the grant
Right.
manager position. That's the motion we need.
So,
Human resources.
I said human
Okay.
resources, assistant manager,
Right.
and grant writer.
so make a motion to pause the hiring of those 3 positions. I'm going to go through, what, human resources, grant writer, and assistant county manager.
I'll second that motion.
Been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Do I have any nays? Ayes have it. The second recommendation that we need a motion is to reclassify the grade system that we're currently using.
Madam Chair, a motion that we reclassify financial officer from grade 78 to grade 83.
I will also second that motion.
It's been properly motioned in second. Get that, Jaleesa? Yes. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? So moved. Does that complete
That
your report?
concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay. I need a motion to recess this meeting to reconvene tomorrow, April 6, 2023 at 10 o'clock.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We are recessed.
Now.